that time, another episode. More mommies, more problems. Hello and welcome back to More Mommies, More Problems, your podcast destination for all things mommy. I am your host, Kait Palys-Bautista, and I have something to say. Please join me in welcoming my dear friend, Kait Palys-Bautista. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, girl. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing very well because your hospitality is way up
Am
there.
I the hostess with the most?
With the mostest. You even have a complimentary cat to pet.
A
and
complimentary, yes. What's one good morsel of joy that happened for you this week? It's just a little sparkle of some fairy dust.
I know.
What
I'm going to
happened?
be so cliche because I know this is a mom podcast, and the easy answer is like, my son did something so cute, right?
Yeah.
I'm totally going to go there though.
Okay.
My son has always been either a daddy's boy or like maybe on the fence mama's boy, but this week he's really turned in like full speed mama's boy.
Oh,
and
he's all clingy right now.
I love it.
He's 11 months?
He's 11 months.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
He decided I'm the parent right now. I'm just going to like soak it up.
And I love that. I love that 11-month point too, because I do feel like they're still really little, right? So they're very cuddly. They still want to lay, but they also like are aware of a lot more things.
Yes.
They're like crawling around, and so you're just seeing their like little personalities kind of start to kick in, and it's the cutest thing ever. Is it strong?
Very strong, like his mama.
Do you feel like, of course, this is your personality with us being your parents?
Yeah, you know it's so funny. I mean, at the end of the day, he's his own little dude, and we'll always respect that. But my husband is so reserved. Like, we are such wild opposites.
Wow. Okay.
That to see that my son didn't even like split it all. Like his looks copy paste my husband, and then personality copy paste me. So yeah, like, I'm surprised, but in like an unconventional way. I'm surprised that he didn't take, it seems like anything
from it.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
He's got his good looks though.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that he's having those moments with you, because
yeah,
girl, man. I feel like you blink and they're 7 years old and asking you for things when you told them to go in their room and not disrupt the podcast.
Hypothetically speaking.
I'm not talking about me or anything.
Yeah.
But it really is like you blink your eyes, you know what I mean? And and you know, you're a boy mom, so you know it's like you just have these little boys and then they grow up into little men. You are currently completing your first year as a mom with an Earthside baby, because obviously that whole first year before that you're also a mom.
I'm glad you counted that. Because when I was pregnant, I didn't feel like in the mom club, but my body was, you know what I mean?
As soon as you're like, as soon as you have the hormones and you're like, oh, I feel horrible. Yeah. Welcome to the club, girl. Like, that's the initiation. Like, you've been initiated. Yeah. You vomited.
I did notice how other women in particular like perceived me after I was pregnant, and then even now, like if they see me with a child,
positive or negative, good.
Yeah, okay. It's like there's this mutual understanding. Like they
respect you in a different way. You're in the club now.
You've been through it. The cool thing about that, and of course, there's many different ways to have a child in your life, but there's that like automatic assumption of like giving birth. Like there's no easy way to do that, but I think there's also something to be said about like there's no easy way to raise a child either. So whatever method you use,
you're making it work.
Yeah,
just don't hurt them.
All of them are.
Don't hurt your kids.
Oh yeah, no.
But besides that, yeah, you're right. Like every single. Well, then that's what the podcast is for. It's for just sitting down and being like, okay, you do things maybe a little bit differently than I do. You have a different way of looking at things, a different perspective, but we can both sit down, because at the end of the day, you're up all night with the kid the same way I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
you're not getting sleep either. You have crumbs in the back seat of your car too. Like everywhere. You have crumbs like in your. Why is there crumbs in my bra? What's going on? You know what I mean? Like we all have that kind of going on. So
yeah.
And yes, you definitely count as a mom even in those first 10 months, and it's not 9 months. I don't know why. Wasn't that the biggest lie? You're like, why would you lie to me and tell me this is 9 months?
Because I hated being pregnant.
It's like, one more month, bitch. You're not done yet. You thought you were done. Haha, 36 weeks. You got like 4 weeks at least if your pregnancy meets term, you know?
So if you're a pregnant woman listening to this,
you got 10 months, girl.
You've got 10 months, and you're in the club.
And you're in the club already.
Yeah.
And, we'll see you in 10 months when it really gets real. Speaking of, how's that been going for you? like Earth side. I mean, your baby's almost 1. He'll be 1 next month.
Yeah.
So, is it what you expected to be? Why and why not?
Yeah, so actually before answering that, I'm just gonna like side tail off.
Yeah.
On the topic of not feeling like welcome in the club, right? Like when I was pregnant, I also now have this like new level of insecurity of I'm a new mom and I've only got 1 kid, so it's like,
please.
like you know what I mean? And it goes back before we hopped on the, or turned on the camera. We were going on about this like concept of enough and how it's never enough. And so I was actually, the one insecurity I had going into this is that I would come off as if I like know what I'm talking about or have this like, you know what I mean? And really I'm just speaking of my experiences. So but it's like, do I even deserve a seat at the table? I only have 1.
Yes, you
and it's like,
do.
hell yeah, I do. Like,
yes, you do.
But I do very sleep deprived, and I deserve that bad.
And it's been a whole year. I mean, you could have just had your baby last month, and it's still like,
100%.
you still have stuff to talk about. And that's the thing too is, I think it's like an imposter syndrome thing. It's like, oh, you're gonna find out that I don't really know what I'm talking about because I haven't been doing it as long as you. But honestly, I feel that way even having a podcast and being 26.
Yeah.
And being like a 26-year-old, kind of a younger mom.
Yeah.
Doing a podcast, talking to moms, trying to empower moms. It's like,
that's so funny. You have 2 children that are like.
But my voice, the voice in my head is like, girl, didn't nobody ask you to hop in front of a camera and tell these grown-ass women about, you know what I mean?
No, but here's the thing.
Who do you think you are?
But you're going into the nuance. Like, you're not, like what we talked about before, you're not playing into one of the polarities. So, like, there's space for it. And that's the thing is, like, there is space for women like, my point, like, I'm tailing the near end of the first year of postpartum, which is, like, a really big period. And most of the time you get commentary, like, retroactively or, you know what I mean? But to hear from folks that are going through it, like, in the thick of it, or, like, in your unique situation. At the end of the day, the funny thing about motherhood and parenthood is, if I have learned anything, and I'm sure I'm going to learn 1,000 things more,
yes,
it's that it's so wildly different for each couple, for each individual, for each child, for each mother, for for each father. It's so wildly different. So to even like ascribe fixed rules to it, it just wouldn't work. Anyway, how's it been going?
Yes.
You're like, I'm gonna ask you this question.
Look,
5 more
this
times.
podcast is for mommies with something to say.
Got lots to say.
And my friend Kait Palys-Bautista has something to say.
Too much to say.
No, it's never too much for me. You could come over anytime.
Yeah.
We could do this all day.
So
we've been doing this all day.
Yeah, actually we've been.
She got here hours ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, let's circle back. How's that been going for you? Is it what you expected it to be? Why not?
Yeah, it's going so much better than I expected it. And I actually was like trying for my son. You know what I mean? Like which like happy either way, right? Like children.
Yeah, sometimes they're whoops. And then sometimes it's like, I really wanted this and I'm so glad it's happening.
Yeah.
Or it took a while and now we're here.
You know? Yeah, 100%. Like for us, we got
it's pretty fast.
Generally, no, I mean, it was fast in the grand scheme, but for me, we still had like 6 months of disappointment. Well, yeah, you know what I mean?
That's
like, it was
a long time of.
Yeah.
When that's 6 periods that came where you were like, damn it.
Yeah, it like really hurt. But that's why I poured, we talked about the weightlifting thing. When I was pregnant, I poured my energy into, I was trying to be really healthy. I stopped drinking, eating really well, all this. And I was doing that to get pregnant.
So you were ripped.
But yeah, I got hecka ripped.
She was jacked.
I was. Not anymore. Maybe again someday. We'll see.
She's still jacked under there.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep
underneath. It's there. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so I poured my energy into 2 different pathways, right? It was either I was going to get lucky and get pregnant, or maybe I'll see where weightlifting can take me. Like, so first goal was to qualify for the American Open. That's just
that's cool
for weightlifting. It's like almost you're past the next phase, right? And then I was like, let's keep going. Like, let's see if I can go to nationals. Let's see if I was like had really ambitious goals for how few years I had underneath my belt. But it was keeping me sane during that time. So if you're trying, the one piece of advice I have, and again, this isn't like an advice podcast, and that's what I love about it. But
we're not trained professionals, but we do have our 2 cents, and you can have that.
Yeah.
I offer you 2 pennies.
Yeah, you actually get paid to hear our advice. But yeah, I just think have something else. So every time I didn't get my period, yes, I was devastated. But then I said, okay, let's keep going. Like, let's see how far I can go with this. You know, and actually, I just qualified for AO. Was going to travel to Banff in Alberta, and that was the next phase. But then I got my pregnancy test, and I was so happy. It was clear that I knew what I wanted of these two options.
And you said it was like 6 months of trying?
Yeah, it was, we figured out actually on July 4th. So, yeah, we did one last hurrah in January and then started trying.
That was 6 periods, and that 7th one did not come.
Yeah. No, that was a really special time. But it did help my mental health during that period, because you can really just get obsessive and like ruin the fun of it all. You know? Yeah,
and then it's not sexy. Like, dang, like husbands out here like, okay, am I just?
I wouldn't really talk too much about it.
Now.
He knew he wanted, you know, he was trying, but I just like, I was the one tracking my cycle and stuff, and then I would just know to like set it up. So
then you're like, all right, well, things has some ovulating.
The bed is made.
Let's go, bro, tonight.
That's like the signal, because we'd never.
We have like the 2-hour window, you know, when you're like ovulating.
I was down to the science.
Did you do the app? Did you have like the app and when you're tracking your periods? I was on Flow app.
Yeah, Flow. That one's good.
That one's really. I'm still on it just for my periods now.
It's
but
really cute when you do get pregnant, because they like show the baby growing.
And
I think a lot of them do that, but
and then it tells you too, like it counts down how many days. So it's like 278 days, and you're like, oh snap!
It felt like forever.
It did.
And then it happens, and you're like,
and don't you feel like that shit was nothing? You're like, that was 10 months of my life that went by. I think
it's because it's such a transition. It's so
especially that
wildly
first time.
Different.
Yeah. Well, every time, but
but I'm sure the first time. Now I would have more. We planned on just one kid, so. Oh, okay. If I have another kid down the road and you hear this, that would be too. But,
she lied. So, I mean, in that way, do you feel like you were expecting your body to change in a big crazy way?
Yeah.
And you were scared about it?
Oh, totally. I was so vain.
And so, but now that you're here, like, how do you feel? I mean, you're saying
not as bad.
You're saying it's not as bad as what you thought.
Yeah.
And then, like, you are exercising a lot. So, like, does that kind of...
Not really anymore.
Not really.
I mean, I do enough, I think, to hit like the general fitness box. But when I compare it to like when I was really competitive.
But if you compare it to like,
I'm doing it, huh? Yeah, caught me.
If you compare it though to like some moms, like when they have their babies, they can't move. Like they don't. To get that motivation. So like even what you may consider as like, well, girl, I'm barely doing anything. That's a lot.
No, I'm glad you said that. My husband and I were just talking about that the other day. How like we're
because you're used to like training for things, but like even just getting up and going for a walk, bitch. Like you're doing the damn thing.
Oh no, 100%.
So if you're just,
that's more than what I'm doing.
If you're popping your kids in the stroller and you're like walking at a slightly faster pace than normal in a circle,
there's so many benefits to that.
You're exercising. You're doing it, and I'm proud of you.
You know, when I used to train people, what I would always say is if you're hitting one of those days where you're just like, for the life of me, I'm not going to pick up that barbell. Like, you cannot make me. I don't force them to, or I don't like beat them up when they don't. But I just say is at a minimum, and you don't have to do it that day, just please get a 3-mile walk in before the end of the week. And it's like the 3-mile walk, it's so many health benefits. And honestly, that's something that's accessible for I think a lot of moms. I got screwed in my birth where like I had like a spine injury, so I couldn't walk well. And I think that helps with my like early pregnancy wanting to exercise, because it's that forbidden fruit when it's taken away from you. Then
you're like, I want to move my body, damn it.
But then, you know what's funny is later on, like my relationship with exercise is really interesting, because I was able to work out through my pregnancy as soon as I could with postpartum. I was doing it. And then when I went back to work, I just felt really revitalized into like my career, which is kind of odd because you don't hear that a lot with, you know, women when they hit this phase of their life. But for whatever reason, I was. And that was priority over exercise. You know what I mean? So it's not even necessarily direct, because I'm busy being a mom. It's I have just so many things. My priorities reshifted, or like shifted, and that influenced like where I'm gonna allocate my time.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay, well, we're already talking about fitness, so let's just scoot on down to how long have you been doing yoga? How did you get started with your yoga process? Let me ask that question first. So, how long have you been doing yoga?
I honestly would have to like pull out the fingers on this one. Like, it's been a second.
So can you remember how old you are when you started yoga? Like
the first time I ever took a yoga class and I fell really in love with it was about like 16ish.
Oh wow. Okay. And you're 28?
29
29.
Now. Yeah, I know. Almost 30. I love getting older though. I feel like every year.
So it's been almost like 15 years of like doing yoga, or 13.
I didn't think about it that way.
13 years. 13
I started
years.
really dedicating to it when I was about like 22ish.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was like, at least, let's say like even at my lowest, it's like 3 days a week.
That's beautiful.
You know? Yeah.
So So okay. So then I guess that answers how long have you been doing it? What got you into it? Like.
Yeah. So. Just like most things, there's, like ebbs and flows, right? Mm-hmm. So in high school, my stepmom, my favorite person ever, she brought me to a Bikram class. It was hot yoga before hot yoga was like a thing.
I love hot yoga.
Yeah, but Bikram, by the way, don't go to Bikram classes.
Ooh,
I'm not trying to check out the Netflix document. Wait, I'm finally telling you about a Netflix thing.
Bikram. You're telling me about a Netflix thing?
I'm really
She don't watch
unaware.
Netflix, y'all. I was
I'm just
you
out
need
of touch.
to go. She's like, what's Netflix? I don't know what Netflix is.
What is anything? I live under a rock.
I think I saw that. I think my husband was watching that documentary about the Bikram guy.
Highly recommend.
He was like weird, like, was he was like shitty,
all the things.
Right?
Yeah.
Just all the word, a narcissistic,
check the boxes of like
asshole,
cool, creepy dude. Yeah, and he, actually, anyway, there's been some cool headlines. Check it out. If you like the cult drama. But, I do not like the man. I do love the practice. Okay. It was really cool. And so my attendance was all contingent on when my stepmom was going. And it's so cool of her to invite me along. I fell in love with that, but then went to college and I was, this is actually one of those phases of my life where I was really insecure about my fitness level.
Okay.
And so I would associate, like I would go to the gym and like, odd hours because I was like insecure. I was like, I really wanted to work out. Yeah. And then I just
struggling.
Compared. Yeah, I think that's
panting.
Isn't it like a rite of passage in your 20s? Like I think we still carry it for the rest of our lives. But when you're like that, because what did you say? Are you 26?
I'm 26. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember around that like 25 to this phase, you start to notice that you start to like compare less? Or are you still there?
Yeah.
It's like
I
crazy.
just clicked over. Literally the past 2 years, I just started like, oh, okay. Yeah. I call it my blinders. Like I'm just tunnel vision, bro. I'm worried about myself.
We still get insecure and we still get jealous.
Sometimes I'd be looking and I'm like, man, and I'm like, girl, let me looking over there. I always say it. Stop looking over there. I'm going to say it in every video. Stop looking over there. Ain't nothing for you over there. That's somebody else's stuff.
I know, but these feelings are so natural too.
Yeah. As a yoga instructor, you probably keep quite calm and regulated often. Do you have any tips for dealing with the highs and lows of new motherhood? What's worked for you in the past like 11 months?
So yeah, dealing with the highs and lows of motherhood, which I think is like, even just that alone, the highs and lows of motherhood says a lot because it's either or, and that's I think what leads to that polarization. The biggest thing, well, there's a couple things. So if I'm going to just answer from the yoga perspective, I mean, you can do the things like the deep breaths. You can do these, whatever.
Do you meditate in the mornings? Do you?
Yeah, I wish I was like one of those people who could say that. Like,
thank you for being honest.
Yeah, I totally don't. Like, who the heck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wake up and I'm like, God, I could use like 8 more hours of sleep, just like every other mom, Yeah. But so there's a few things that have regulated me, and I'm actually more regulated than when I was before I was a mom. Number one is actually, I'm going to go into the antidepressants. So we had touched briefly on this before, but I actually really want to vocalize this for other moms out there. So I had gone to therapy and for years, since I was probably like 20, actually even in high school a little bit, I was doing therapy.
Good for you.
But
not a lot of people have access at that age.
Yeah, I was really lucky that my parents really prioritized it.
It's good. Get your kids in therapy.
Yeah, that I like feel really grateful. Granted, that therapist was very odd. She chalked everything up to like sexual frustration, and I was like, or I just have like problems with my mom. Like I don't know. Like, she was very on an agenda. But anyway, but there are really good therapists out there. I remember the first really good therapist I had. Let me go on forever. So anyway, I gave birth, had a really traumatic birth, had really bad PTSD. Yeah. And I even that like that
from the birth experience or just from the pregnant? Okay.
From the birth experience. And so even that saying PTSD, I almost felt like, I don't have a seat at the table. To be honest, I think more women need to talk about this. I'm just gonna be really vulnerable right now. I literally was seeing things Like that level of PTSD. Like at night I'd stare up and I would see the lights from like going into the operating room and I'd fall asleep and I'd wake up like pushing.
Oh, like you're like...
Yeah.
Whoa. So did you have like nightmares?
Oh, yeah. I had like a really pretty bad PTSD. Like it interrupted and my hearing and my vision would go out.
So what helped you kind of get through that? Like you said, so what you...
Yeah, so I got on Prozac. We just kept like bumping up because either it was like I feel anxious or I feel depressed or whatever. But anyway, we got it up to 40 milligrams per day, and honestly, that's been like the sweet spot for me. The highs and lows. First thing, medication. So this is, I may look like I have it all together. I'm medicated.
You were talking about how you said something really profound earlier, where you were saying like, yeah, I mean, it may look like I have it all together, but you said you went like this, and you said you're being supported by medicine, and like go to the doctor and like get something that works for you, or find someone to talk to. That helps a lot too. But sometimes you need that extra step. You need a psychiatrist to prescribe you with some medication. So how prior to antidepressants versus like after, and now that you're on them, you're still on them?
So I'm still on them. I mean, we'll see how long I need. That's the other cool thing about antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication is the strategy. If you have a good doctor, the strategy isn't forever. It's just to help like build your brain patterns until
you get to a more stable place.
Yeah, and then you like slowly taper off. And you could always go.
So I've definitely heard some like mixed reviews about antidepressants. You
gotta find your one, just like birth control,
because I know like sometimes like you gain weight, like your libido gets super weird.
I'm a boss. I did sertraline and I was like a mess. See, I was thinking I'm gonna do a low dose because I'm good. I'm not that bad. I just need a low dose. That was really interesting because I just did 10 milligrams, and you know what happened? My depression went down, but my anxiety skyrocketed. And so I guess that's like a common reaction. I didn't know this, right? But it's like, so I thought going up in dosage meant, oh man, that's how bad I am, because it's easy to think about it that way. No, you just have to find the right dosage for your own body chemistry. So at 30, it was also kind of good. 40 is where I'm at for this really interesting transitional period in my life. The cool thing about motherhood too is like I feel like you almost get like a built-in amount of patience too through the birth, but it's not enough to handle like you're so sleep deprived.
And then tired. I think like, really what happens is you're not taking it out on the baby, you're taking it out on yourself because you feel guilty because all your thoughts, because you have all these thoughts that are like, this fucking sucks. This isn't what I thought. Everybody made motherhood look like it was so cute, and then all I saw was the flower halos and the naked babies in the basket. I know,
that Mormon TikTok.
And
it's like, God, they look so happy.
But it's like, there's so much more. And then like, I've even seen like influencers that have like 7 kids, and their pregnancies are back to back. And every time they're like, they're like, just gave birth. And then, these people get paid to make their life look a certain way on social media. Yeah. So it's like, if you're trying to get a reel out, you're trying to get like like a new reel, maybe 5 reels a day. Then you're gonna be like, today I made quinoa for breakfast and I gave birth, and then I came home and all white. You have to have like a color palette. Your aesthetic is like really all the same. Like all your white. Whole house is all white. You wear beige.
Your dog is white.
Your kids wear pastels. Like, you can only wear pastel colors.
Yeah.
It'd be like that, though. If someone wanted to try yoga but didn't know where to start, what advice would you give them for getting started?
Know what to look for.
Yeah. Because if you just look up yoga for beginners,
actually, yoga for beginners is a good phrase.
That's a good phrase, yeah.
Yeah, like gentle yoga. Just, so the keywords, if you're going to go on like YouTube or something, gentle yoga for beginners.
Maybe for non-flexible people. Some people can't do even like some of those
yoga.
Yeah, some of those beginner yoga, they're still
I know sometimes they are, and that's just lame. And
some people can't.
Well,
some people just can't move their bodies quite like that yet. So like I know like I don't know, like what's that pose where you
like Warrior Two.
Warrior Two, yeah. Like even just like going out into kind of like a lunge position, like that's hard for people.
Yeah, that's actually
to stay really there. They're gonna fall over sometimes. Yeah. So it's like Is there any stable, like anything to work on as far as getting your balance together before you start going to classes?
And first off, don't wait until you're ready to go to a yoga class, because you'll always make these excuses of like, oh, I'm not this enough, I'm not that, like, just go, because that's how you get
I don't look like everybody else looks.
Flexible.
Yeah.
But if you just want some like quick, things to keep in the back of your noggin when you aren't comfortable enough to go to a class. And by the way, like, you know that you're always welcome to any class, and if you don't feel that way in any studio, there's another studio or teacher for you. I always say this: activate your core, activate your glutes, activate your inner thighs.
How do you activate your core? I'm working on my core strength right now. I'm like, it's getting good. I have ab lines now, but it took a really long time, and now I'm like, how do you, like, what do you do?
Okay, that's a really good question, because I think you're right. Like, we just say activate your core, and we're like, how do you
But I didn't even know what that felt like for a really long time until I started losing weight, and then I was like, oh, I have access to my core now, because I couldn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't bring that shit in. So like, what does that look like?
Let me first plug. If you have a larger body, check out Tiffany Crow.
Okay.
She's a friend of mine. She's actually in the Fresno area. So if you're listening to this and near the Fresno metro area, reach out to her. She does like workshops, retreats. She teaches yoga classes online. She is really good about tapping into the cues that are needed for larger bodies. So if you do feel like disconnected from your body, your also just like the strength that you have, and she's a really big advocate, because especially if you see her move like through the years, she's a phenomenal yoga practitioner. She's really great about dispelling these limiting factors that we sometimes ascribe to ourselves of like, I can't do this because I'm a larger body, or I can't do, you know what I mean? And it's like, with Tiffany, she shows, no, you can. You're just not practicing that way. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like anything else. It's
you just gotta like build those fundamentals first, kind of.
Yeah. So I think nothing's wrong with finding people that look like you or you feel represented.
That's really good. That's really good.
Yeah. So, and
that was something I have to say, as a Black woman, I don't see a lot of Black yoga happening, especially in our town. I just don't think it's always accessible. That's why, like, I met you at Alyssa's yoga class, and I went because I was like, oh, a Black girl's teaching a yoga class. It was so exciting. And I had gone to one of her other classes at Tower Yoga, and it was also booty yoga, and it was just so fun. And I love to dance. Like, dancing is my form of exercise. I do like cardio. Yeah. So I was like, if I'm gonna do a yoga class, like, this would be the best one. And it was still really hard. I was like, oh my God, like trying to do the what is this like arm stack?
Oh,
and Kate's just like killing it, and I was like,
what's so funny? I have no rhythm, so I get really insecure at booty yoga. Yeah, like I'm.
Isn't that so funny? How when I met you, I thought you were like this bendy goddess. I was like, who is this bad bitch? I need to follow her. And then I think I followed you. I found you. I was like,
I really connected with you there too.
You're recently married, just like me. How long have you been married?
So we got married. We did the courthouse thing in 2020.
2020. So almost 3 years.
Yeah. We got married in August.
And did you do a wedding?
No.
Are you planning on it? Good.
But I lied, and anybody that's in my family, or not really my immediate
you told
family,
them you were going
family,
to.
I was like, maybe someday. But we already
maybe for 10 years. Maybe for 10 years you can do like a little soiree at a beach or something.
Yeah, I love the beach
camping trip or something.
Yeah,
make it like a beautiful thing, and you could put on a pretty little dress.
Yeah, you guys are invited.
You should come.
Yeah, it's my 10-year.
You heard it here.
An anniversary is something definitely worthy to celebrate too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was thrilled. So I married a traditional Mexican man, right? So that means that his family, if you were to not invite one person, that's like highly offensive, right? We weren't like swimming in money, you know what I mean? And we were gonna have to pay for the wedding ourselves, and so I was like, how do you I wasn't willing to put us in debt for a wedding, and I'm not trying to shame you if you go that route. I think, you just, again, do you,
but man. I mean, like, weddings are expensive, so
they're also really fun and really meaningful and really special, so like,
they can be.
Get it. Yeah. Like,
I still have some negative feelings about my wedding.
So what we did is I kind of hopped on the fact that, I'm just saying this honestly, I hopped on the fact that it was COVID.
So you were like, oops, guess we can't have a wedding. Guess we're going to have to go do it by ourselves like I wanted to do.
Well, my side of the family and all my friends from back home, East Coast, it was going to make everybody have to travel so far. And there was just like a lot going on in our family. And it was just like, oh man. So anyway, we got married in courthouse. I loved it. It's great. I love the picture of us, like, actually, you know, truly getting married in the courthouse, because it's got this awesome, like, wallpaper of, like, valley blossoms, but you can tell it was, like, put up in the 80s and the carpet's
ours
showing.
was
and it's
when
like,
we,
yeah,
we also got married in the
courthouse.
Our little video, and I was laughing.
You got a video?
We have we did a little video, and it was like,
fancy.
You know, it was, you know, we had our one witness in there. And,
we had one witness. I think there was another person in the corner. I still don't know what their job was.
Yeah, they're just there to be the witness. Yeah, just to sit there.
Oh, is that it? That was their job? They didn't even, that's hilarious. We never even exchanged anything.
Oh, really? For ours, like, I talked to everybody, so I sat there and I was like, so hey girl, I guess you're our witness, huh? She's talking, and then she's the one that took the video for us.
Yeah, they were taking
so
pictures.
I was like, could you take a photo? She's like, I'll take a video if you want. And I was like, cool. So she took a video, and then she took like 10 photos of us kissing afterwards. Yeah. And then we started making out, and I was like, maybe we should stop. Like,
wait, that's cool.
It was just two of them standing there.
We did not make out. I like him, but he's like pretty conservative about that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Frank,
yeah.
I will make out with you though. But there's
period.
Yeah.
She loves you.
I did get dressed up though, and I did get my makeup done.
You looked so fly. I remember seeing
I didn't even recognize myself though, to be honest. I was like, who is?
I remember your post. I was like, oh my gosh, she looks so beautiful. Stunning. You look like it was such a fun day.
Oh, it was fun. You know, we said our vows over dinner. And that was really special. Anyway, so
I want to. That's beautiful. Yeah.
I think it's kind
so
of
okay. Wait, so snap 3 years then, almost 3 years.
Yeah, it's
and what month will make it 3 years?
When did I get married? Yeah, October.
October.
Not
okay,
August.
so hilarious. Just recently hit 2 years, and then you'll be at 3 years.
You know, we started dating in August, so it was like years back.
So like prior to marriage, how long were you guys together dating before?
We were one of those examples that I would call a non-example, where like we were so tumultuous.
Okay,
and, like,
so like hot and cold.
Very hot and cold. We just had such big feelings for each other, and it didn't matter how much therapy I'd gone through. Like it just, we did not know how to
it depends on your attachment style, right?
So we had complete opposites, yet we were so drawn to each other. And it was like actually really, really difficult. And I remember when we eventually did get engaged, some people were very confused.
Really?
Yeah, it was like, it wasn't even like the happy. They were just like, what universe? Like that's not gonna last. You know what I mean? But also they didn't see the behind the scenes that had been going on and all the therapy and all. But
how long were you guys dating?
Yeah, we were dating. We started dating in 2018. So 19.
So like 2 years.
Yeah, actually it was a short period of time. We had some big emotions, but it's really cool.
So what made you guys go? What made him propose?
What, like snap?
Yeah. What happened?
Okay, this is hilarious. This is actually funny for me to just be real. So. I was going through yoga teacher training at the time, which is going to surface up like all kinds of emotions, right?
Yeah.
And we were apart. I was trying to get myself ready to date other people, but nobody was comparing to Frank, right? You know, that classic like early breakup phase. But also like I just knew. I remember the first time I saw Frank, he was going to be my person, right? So I was really devastated. There was probably 3 months out from breaking up at this point, right? Wow. So it's like, you're really like, it's real, you know?
It's starting to break your heart. Yeah.
Ripped me. I mean, I was like pretty down. I met this powerlifting guru or whatever at some workshop, and we had hit it off, and we were planning on meeting up, and then we decided, let's just go big. Like, let's just go to Cabo. And so we like booked tickets to go to Cabo, and so we started talking on the phone, not too much. I loved how casual it was. I realize now I loved how casual it was because I wasn't actually getting emotionally invested, so I could maintain those feelings for Frank. You know what I mean? Anyway, so it was leading up to it, and it was like 2 days before I think I was supposed to go down. And I called him. We were meditating, and this is so cheesy. We were meditating in a yoga class. And it just came to me. I was like, this isn't sitting right with me. Like, this going on this trip with this guy, like, it feels so wrong. Like, Frank and I were apart, but I didn't want to go. It was like, on paper, it sounded like a bachelorette style date. You know what I mean? Like, insane, just over the top. But it did not sound better than eating pizza in dirty pajamas with Frank. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so
that was it.
That was it. I called. I canceled. I said, keep all the money because I already paid him my half. I just said, keep it. Take someone else.
You had a romantic comedy moment.
I did. And so
did you run? Did you run to the train station?
I called Frank and we got pizza, and I was so devastated because I thought it was going to be this really obvious, like,
yeah,
oh, we're back together, but it wasn't. Anyway, I could go on forever about this. We fixed things. We got back together. We did the work. We did the therapy. He's a phenomenal father, a phenomenal husband. And I worked my best to be a good wife and a good mom. But yeah, when we got back together, though, there were some people that were like, wait, that's giving me hope to get back with my ex. And I'm like, no. Well, no. Like,
it depends. If your ex hurt you, harmed you, I think sometimes being unfaithful you can work through it depending on the circumstances.
Yeah, again.
But if they're putting their hands on you or abusing you psychologically, like, bro, don't go back. You left for a reason. When's the last time you said something nice about yourself?
We were talking.
You talked about your boobs.
Yeah,
we were talking about boobs.
Nice boobies.
She's got great boobies. No, let's name some things.
No, that I still want to do surgery on.
She's got great boobies. She would like bigger boobies, and that's okay.
That's okay. I said this before. I was like, I think I can be conventionally pretty. I just need to like remind myself of that. You know what I mean?
But you're pretty? Is that what you're trying to say? Because no disclaimers.
Okay? Yeah, you're right. I'm pretty.
You are pretty.
You're pretty too. And I think I'm a good mom.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think you're a good mom too.
I think you're a good mom too.
And you know what? I know your baby's like 11 months old, and you sometimes feel like, do I even have a right to sit at the table? Yes, you do. Bring your own chair if you have to.
Thank you.
Because you are beautiful. And you have great boobs, and you are a good mom. And you are a good mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
And I don't know, for me, let's see. I've been trying purposefully to say nice things about myself. So probably the last time was probably like maybe at the start of the week. I had a rough week. It was kind of like a weird, not like really bad. Like nothing happened, but like it was just like, sometimes my energy levels are low and I'm a little bit more bloated because I didn't make the best eating choices throughout the week. And then I just feel, I try not to be vain with the way that I'm hard on myself, but like I was raised a certain way. My programming is based on vanity.
I think even that I'm saying I'm more accepting of my body, it definitely has veins.
It's like you're accepting your body because you work hard and now you kind of like the way it looks a little bit more. Yeah. And I think that's kind of where I'm at too, where it's like I feel good about my body because I work hard every day for the body I have. But when I slip and I make a mistake, it's really hard for me to have compassion for myself in those moments. To be like, it's okay, girl, you ate a whole pizza. It's fine. Yeah. And then I'm like, can I do that and not work out like for an extra 45 minutes like a crazy person?
That's, I think, what...
Jesus Christ.
I know this because I used to be like that because the body that I had required so much maintenance. Yeah. But then it was like during postpartum and I noticed that I started to like my body. Like, you know, after things started shifting, I was like, wait, okay, this looks kind of good. It was my first time realizing that I could have the pizza. I didn't have to do the extra for it. You know what I mean? It was like,
and that you're gonna be okay. Like, it'll be fine. It's a body. It's not, you know. But
and it also could be a beautiful body. Like, you can have the pizza and have a beautiful body.
I think that I'm funny as fuck.
You are.
I think that I'm really funny and I'm really cool, and I think that I'm a good friend, and you know, and I don't know. I think I'm really funny, and I'm a cool person to be around, and I've been rejected a lot in my life, and for a while I thought it was because there's something wrong with me, but really it's just because I'm myself, and I don't have a desire to be friends with people just because they're the person that everyone else wants to be friends with. Like, I usually avoid those people.
Honestly,
so then I'm the outcast a lot in situations where I'm like, okay, I guess I'm like the lame one here, even though I don't want to sit at the table with all y'all. I have my own table,
oh my
bitch.
Gosh. You know, that's such a pivotal moment. And this I learned like in early 20s. And gosh, whoever's listening, I really hope you've already learned this lesson well before I did.
Or you're learning it now before you have to, like, you know.
Yeah. But it's that, like, I would ask myself, okay, like, why don't these people like me? Like, why am I not clicking with these people?
What did I do?
And I never once asked I never once asked, do I even like them?
So thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you came out. How did you feel before you walked in, and how do you feel now?
Okay, so naturally you're going to be like, I think my biggest insecurity was do I even deserve does my voice
to
even
talk
matter
about being
in
a
this
mom
space?
when it
Yeah,
has
like
only been 11
I
months.
feel so irrelevant. But no, I felt so welcoming immediately.
Oh,
also,
good.
you just have like that welcoming attitude. But no, I feel great, and actually, I loved how organic this was.
It was great. Yeah.
Yeah, it was sincere.
Did it go like easier than you were expecting?
Oh yeah.
Like
I didn't
you're
even
really
think
good at
about
talking
it.
though. Like you just flow. So I think if you flow, it's easier. But
I'm like it's hug
Yeah.
time. I felt the hug.
Aw. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on.
you.
I
It was
think
so
you
fun.
shared a lot of really amazing things. And I hope your baby has an amazing 1-year-old first
will.
1-year-old birthday. That was weird. I hope your baby has an
know.
amazing first year birthday party. I hope you do something special.
Yeah. We're just going to the aquarium. We're driving to Monterey and doing that.
to the
See, we do
aquarium
the
so we can
courthouse
see the
wedding,
fishies.
independent birthday. Eventually, he'll have real birthday parties, but
Girl,
I'm too
it's
anxious,
fine.
all.
We just this last year with my son was the first year, the older kid, where I like didn't have like a bunch of family hang out for his birthday, and it was a lot less stress, man.
Yeah,
like
we're
people
at
be
that
getting mad
point.
that they didn't get invited. It's like I forgot. I'm sorry. Like I can't
Yeah.
keep track of everyone
don't
on
take
both sides.
offense. I think when in doubt, or like if you're offended that you're not getting invited to a wedding, or like feel your feelings, but also like trust that.
I'm doing
Most-
what's best.
Yeah,
for
or like don't
me.
take things so personally. Like
Mm-hmm.
most things are not. It kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier about like you're just projecting, or you know looking for the
For-
thing you'd be upset about or
yeah.
hurt by or whatever, just because we're insecure. But yeah,
Well, thank you so much.
yeah.
This has been Mommies Full Problems, your podcast destination for all things mommy. Thank you so much, Kait Palys-Bautista, for coming with us and talking with us about all these really awesome things. And we're going to do our little thank you for listening to our podcast, Mo Mommies, Mo Problems. See you later.
I literally had to think about the rhythm there. That's how I should not. This is how bad I am at rhythm.